he can.
Yeah,
it's the
exactly.
Best it's the best.
That intro music is the best. We
I don't know if
appreciate
it's
you.
the best. It's the best y'all have had so far.
There's no doubt. I enjoy
We have no intent to change, as far as I'm concerned.
No,
It
not at
works.
all.
But I also never listen to our podcast. Ever.
I listen to it just to make
you
sure.
have to edit it.
Yeah.
Quality control.
He
And
edits them.
I mean, I understand that we've had some audio issues, so don't be like, oh, you listen to it and that's still the way it comes out. Like, yeah, I'm trying to do the best I can with a full-time job and
Save your email.
yeah, save your emails. I know we're working on it. Your ears don't hear anything that ours don't. So,
No question.
but we're back at Tailwaters.
It's Father's Day. It's Sunday.
Father's Day at Tailwaters with Jared Kennedy from
Yeah.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers.
Yep.
That's
We were
me.
just talking about.
I feel like this is like a 1 year, like it's all like last year was all brand new stuff, and this year is all like stuff we're like, oh, remember we did this last year?
Yeah.
We talked about full draw. Here it is again.
We're here.
It's time. I'm so excited. That I saw the trailer on the Texas. I think somebody shared it maybe on the Texas Bow Hunters forum, and I mean obviously it's all over, but just goosebumps again.
That trailer was good.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I haven't watched it.
It's really
I
good.
need to.
It's super good.
Comment on that Texas bow hunter
Yeah.
post to bring it back to the top, please.
I check it every day and just see what's going on. I'm excited that there's people like I like the fact that I go on there and I'm like, well, I should probably try to help post it, and then some other person has already talked about
Right.
it, and which is always nice that somebody's keeping somebody else besides us
Right.
is talking about it, which is always nice.
Well, it's going to be a good time. So the first show, San Antonio, this upcoming Saturday, the 23rd of June. It's actually in Bernie. We're calling it the San Antonio show, but no offense to Bernie. At Leading Edge Archery in Bernie, I think doors open at 5, and the show will be at 6. We have some pretty cool raffle items. I know we've got a new bow. I think top of the line bow. We've got cut a good deal on that, and we may have a couple of trips. I know there's a bow fishing trip. There's some Onyx stuff. It's going to be a good show. Be some good. I think they're cooking food there in house, and we'll have some cold drinks and movie, and everything ought to work.
They're so much fun to hang out at
They're
because
awesome.
you just meet new people who are just completely like-minded. It's just so nice to find like I'm all about the internet thing. I hang out, I talk to people on the internet a lot, try to be engaged in forums and things like that, but it's just they're so different when you finally sit down and you're sitting over a beverage and
Right.
you're talking, well, what are you doing? How are you doing this? It's just go for the movie, but stay for the people who are there, and
Yeah.
just the exchange of ideas will be something you never know what you walk out of. I've walked out of there with a couple hunting buddies,
Yeah.
that are still Cameron. That's where we met Cameron.
Yep. Was
Yeah.
the full draw last year?
Full draw last
Really?
year. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yep. We were talking to Sean. Sean's like, hey, we were here at Tailwaters for full draw here in Dallas, and he was like, hey, you guys need to talk to this dude Cameron. He hunts public land like you boys do. And so we hit it off, and Cameron and I sat in a stand a lot of times just last year, and
Yeah.
looking forward to doing it again this year. So,
Yeah. We're already starting to put pen to paper.
oh man,
It's coming up.
I can't wait.
About time to start go putting out cameras and such.
Yeah.
It's about that time.
And you gonna hunt dove season with your big black dog?
Maybe a little, but we're
This is an interesting year for us in dove
'cause
season.
I've always hunted dove season. I like dove hunting. I'm sure I will do some dove hunting.
you're elk hunting.
Yes,
Well-
that too, but early teal. I've
Yeah.
never worried about it because they hit rice fields so much. I've never really had any access, but we've ran up on some teal on some of our cameras that we still have out now, and so I think we're gonna hit, for what it's worth, when I'm not on that elk hunt, we're gonna hit early teal. But I'm sure with the girlfriend and her family and stuff who dove hunt, the dog will be coming out for that.
Yeah.
It'll be fun, but I'm way more interested in early teal than dove. That's just me.
A few years ago, my oldest boy, Gus, killed an antelope, and the landowner whose place we shot that on, we had taken care of the meat. We went and shot prairie dogs. We get back to his house, and he has this little pothole right next to his house, and it was full of blue-winged teal.
Oh wow.
And I said, I don't have a New Mexico small game license. I said, but you do. And I said, if you've got your waterfowl stamp, you ought to go jump those ducks off there. And I said, we'll have a little surf and turf. And he had, he had elk steak from an elk that was killed on his place. He jumped some teal off and shot those teal. That blue wing are unbelievable. It's the best duck, by far. It's almost kind of a quail. It's almost a whiter meat. It's really good.
It is. Teal's good.
I mean, the blue wing are better than green wing too, and green wing are great.
Yeah.
There's not really a duck I'm against eating.
Right.
I mean, I guess
you're a foodie guy. I mean, you're a smart cook
the key. Who did we have this conversation with recently? I had this conversation Friday night in Houston. We had a work dinner, and somebody said, "Oh, I can't stand duck. It's so livery and gamey." I said, "How do you cook it?" Like, "I'll put it on the grill." I said, "How long did you put it on there?" Until it was done. I said, "That was your mistake."
Yeah.
I said, "Sear it like 30 seconds."
Yeah.
Like, you need to eat as rare as you can eat it, because once it gets done, quote, that's why it tastes like liver and game, and like rare duck is the way to go. Like, I do a lot of duck pastrami with mine. You can do whatever you want. A lot of hash for breakfast, and that's cool. But yeah, if you're just gonna eat duck breasts, just sear them.
Yeah.
I want to keep a whole duck this year. I said it last year, and do like a Peking duck, a full whole Asian style Peking duck.
Yeah.
That'd be badass. But plucking a whole duck's gonna be a pain.
It's not bad. We plucked a bunch last year when we went on that BHA kind of annual meeting deal. We killed some sandhill crane and killed a few ducks, a few geese. They killed a couple of speckled-bellied geese that were great, and I plucked a green-winged teal and a shoveler both, and I mean, it's good.
I've never eaten shoveler.
It's fine. People give it a hard time. People are so weird,
Yeah.
Of course, the guy I went to high school with lives next door to Panassi.
Of course.
And of course, he walks over and goes, "You ain't gonna eat that stuff, for you?" It's like, come on, man. And I looked at Michael Panassi and I said, I grew up with this shit my whole life,
You're not gonna eat that,
redneck, just beef's the only thing I eat.
My dad tells me all the time, when we talk about it, I was saying how much I want to shoot a bear eventually. Like, no question, really want to get a bear.
Man.
What are you going to do with it, he says. Like, what do you mean? The same thing I do with everything else I shoot. He said, people don't eat bear. I said, who are people?
Yeah.
Well, that's just what I've heard. And I said, well, there's your problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said, you've never eaten it.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, just like people saying whitetail's gamey. Yeah, because whoever you ate it from probably cooked it to shoe leather.
Right.
And
it was a piece of shit. If you took a piece of grass-fed cow that
threw it up in the bed of their truck, went and got lunch.
Yeah, left it back there and cooked it, and then took it to a processor, and then overcooked it in your pan, and didn't season it. And you do the same thing with a really nice ribeye. It's going to taste awful.
Yeah.
Like, you can't discredit wild game because you're expecting it to be bad or because you don't know how to cook it.
I think, too, though, I mean, nobody knew any different for 50 years of American culture than grain-finished beef. Corn-finished beef is the taste that everybody kind of has in their mind.
Yeah.
And now we've got, boneless, skinless chicken breast. Most kids, that's all they've ever had.
Yeah,
a hot dog or a boneless, skinless chicken breast. Well, I thought if your kid hadn't tried something different than that by the time they're 18,
of course they're going to be like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, this is weird.
Shrimp tastes weird, Like.
But when you think about, like, the really good cuisines of the world, it's peasant food, it's bad cuts of meat, what people would think of bad cuts of meat, but they know exactly how to do it,
exactly.
And they use ingredients that you can find fresh and good, and we just, we've just been ruined.
Beyond spoiled.
Yeah,
ruined, like you said.
If it's not a filet, it's not worth eating, and that's just, like, it's ridiculous. Like you said, I think the best food I've ever had has been some sort of low quality cut that has been just cooked to perfection in a technique like a braise or some or sous vide. And sous vide, I mean, I feel like that's obviously a relatively new thing, but
it's not. It just wasn't. It just was popular and then it wasn't popular again.
Really?
Yeah, it's a French technique. I forget. It's
been around plenty long enough.
Around.
Yeah.
The idea of it.
The French they know how to cook food.
No question. Getting it, down to the convenience of a single stick that you put
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
hot
I mean,
water
with
you know, that's
Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on
yeah,
it.
that's
that's-
that part's new, but the idea of it's basically a poach of sorts,
Yeah.
or a confit of sorts, and if you can do that, like that squirrel confit I did. Yeah,
It was good.
So it was just you can do anything with it. Like,
Yeah.
you eat squirrel? I'm like, yeah. Do you? No, I'm sure it's gross.
I just
You're
watched
sure?
a
That's a bold
7-part
statement.
video of squirrel is like that's the biggest thing that people like of something I've eaten that somebody's been like, what? I'm like, yeah, and I'd never eaten squirrel before until this year, and just never ate
Dark
it,
meat chicken,
and it was so good,
for lack of a better comparison.
so good.
It's
I mean, fried
unbelievable.
like that, and then to have what you did with it was
Yeah.
180 degrees different. To have it, you said confit or
Yeah, I confit it in olive oil in the sous vide for I think 24 hours. Then we made banh mi sandwiches.
oh my god, it was so good.
Quick pickled some carrots and some daikon, and we had cilantro and sriracha mayo on like.
A slider.
I remember y'all talking
It
about
was
that.
super
Oh,
good.
it was
That was
ridiculous.
my first go at it too.
Yeah, that was good.
It was real good.
I'm a big fan of squirrel and rabbit both.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned this before, but that friend of mine from Louisiana that came turkey hunting with us cooked swamp rabbit, and he made like a gravy. He took all these different parts, took some sausage he had bought at the market there in town and browned it, and like took the sausage out and kept the grease and deglazed the pan with he had like a giant can of Guinness. And he deglazed the pan and cooked that down. Then he poured some more in, and he and I looked to me like he was burning it. And he said, "Oh, you think I'm burning it, but I'm not burning it." And then he did that 2 or 3 times and browned the rabbits, set them aside, and then finally deglazed the pan and put onions in there and celery. And I mean, this guy is serious business. And
So almost making a roux, or
yeah, we just kept cooking it down, kept cooking it down. Then he made a kind of a gravy out of some of the grease that he had reserved, and put that on top, and then cooked all that. Covered it. Put some stock and water in there, and basically just braised it down, and we served it over rice. It was one of the best meals I've ever had. But
Yeah.
he really knows what he's doing. He's made some cooking videos in the past, some kind of Cajun cooking videos, and
I love Cajun cooking.
Every
cook
group of friends
everything.
needs
Yeah.
somebody like that.
I need to look at the date, but so he was on No Reservations. Bourdain went down and cooked with them back when he was doing No Reservations. I don't know if it's 10
Was
or
that part of
15
that
years
big?
ago.
Didn't he do that? Like he was down in Louisiana and did that big boucherie. He killed that pig with
That
the
was
pistol.
him. That was
yeah.
my buddy
Yeah.
Lindsay. That was my buddy
awesome.
Lindsay.
That was an awesome episode.
And
I
he,
feel like I remember
he
that.
told him, he said
Yeah.
they were partying that night before, and he said, "We're gonna, you got to be here at 6 or whatever."
'Cause we-
And he said, "What if I'm late?" And he said, "If you're late, we're gonna call you a pussy."
yeah.
That was my friend that told that to him. But anyways, they went down last year and filmed another episode. It's going to air, I think, July 17th on
Yeah.
CNN. So that's a sad deal. But
Man,
Very. I really liked him.
he was.
He
Yeah.
seemed real,
Yeah.
And
He
there-
seemed like a
I know
real
he had a
dude.
lot of demons, but
But
it must have, obviously you never know what's going on.
dude,
Yeah,
But
man.
with everything he talked about, overcoming and
Mhm.
everything,
Yeah, I mean, it just-
alcohol problems and I think heroin,
oh yeah.
and he
You
and he seemed like he got big into jiu-jitsu, and we were talking with Joe Rogan, and like he seemed like he kind of gotten shit figured out and was like into jiu-jitsu and healthy and still had. And, I mean, he
Yeah.
had the most amazing job basically that I could think
God.
of. You cooked and ate and drank, and just went and met people and talked.
yeah.
But it's
Who knows?
you never know. It's so crazy. And celebrities, I don't care about at all really, but
Yeah.
that one really caught me
I
off
know.
guard.
That was a
I
weird
like
one.
that guy.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
I got into that show after hanging out with this fellow Lindsey Young from Eunice, Louisiana, and he told us about being on the show, and it just salt of the earth guy. You could tell. I mean, the first time I met him, I was like, this guy's a cool cat. But he talked about being on that show and hanging out. So I got home and I had that thorn in my leg that turned into a bad infection. So I had to lay up in bed for a while. So I started watching on Netflix
Just
that Parts Unknown.
Everything you could
Yeah,
find
well, I
that would
just
be
watched-
like, yeah.
Well, I watched, Bourdain, Parts Unknown, 8 seasons
Yeah,
of it while
exactly.
I was laid up in bed, Anyways, it's a shame, but, you never don't know what happened, but bad deal.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
What else? What else are we talking about before we actually hit record? We know we're talking about full draw.
So I'm so interested in this. Like, I mean, not to poke at pain, but you got staph infection. You were out turkey hunting.
Yeah.
Because you were like, I remember we were just talking, and all of a sudden you just like, it was just like away you went, and then you like a couple weeks later, like a week or two later, you're like, dude, I've got staph infection, and I was like, oh my god.
What?
So like, so you how did you get that? You said you got a thorn in your knee while you're turkey hunting, right?
Yeah, you know how you get down underneath the mesquite trees and things, and I got I had some cactus thorns and I was wearing gaiters, but right above where the gator stopped and right underneath my kneecap, I got a thorn in there, and I couldn't get it out. You know, I messed with it a little bit at camp, and it just got worse and hurt. And I get home, and I try one more time. I take a couple of hot Epsom salt baths, and I try to dig it out myself, and I can't get it. So I go into like one of those
urgent care
now deals, and I really think I got staph at the doctor's office is what I think.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't. There's no way to know that, but
to me that would make more sense than out in the field. But what do I know?
yeah.
I mean, you would think like.
Well, and of course, doctors say, well, staph lives on you all the time, but
Sure.
you hear about people getting it out I had a gal that worked for me that was in her 30s that died. She got
Holy shit.
She got medically resistant staph in the hospital. She had pneumonia, went into the hospital, got staph, and died about 2 days later.
God,
It just took her over. Had been out on maternity leave, so I mean, had left a young baby. And
Oh my
family.
god.
So I mean, staph is scary, but yeah, my leg ballooned up. I mean, at the wound site was just
Grotesque, like
yeah,
gruesome looking.
terrible,
I'm sure.
terrible. Drained. It was still draining maybe 10 days later.
Oh.
And was still just oozing. It still, if I get down on a knee, I can still feel it. There's some sort of scar tissue in there or something.
You got some permanent.
Yeah, hadn't fully healed. I don't know if it got in the cartilage or what, but of course, you talk to a nurse, somebody that's worked in a hospital, and they're like, "Oh, you're lucky it didn't get in the bone. If it gets in the bone, you're screwed." This sounds.
The whole thing's terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
It's just an infection. You don't think about that.
Well, if no antibiotics. If we didn't have modern antibiotics,
no question.
My legs off. I'm probably dead, but my legs.
Your legs off to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just shit like that is so scary to me, and like, I mean, to kind of borrow from Ranella, I mean, on this last episode he had that guy who is a straight up
quadriplegic,
like a quad.
Yeah.
I mean, he's paralyzed from his neck down, and I mean, it's like. It was hard for me to listen to that because you're just like, holy crap, dude. I can't imagine, like...
He was driving back from rodeo.
Yeah, just like...
And got in a truck wreck. And
probably a rugged, good athlete,
No, he was a steer wrestler. Yeah,
I mean, like... bitch, no question.
Yeah.
And just to see what, like...
Flip of a switch.
How, like, it can go away in a second, and you... I mean, and the fact that he didn't really miss a beat was so, like... like I said, it was hard for me to listen to. I hate to admit that, but... it's just one of those things that you're just like, man, I can't. It's hard for me to face, like, thinking about that happening to myself.
Yeah.
And
he was so like, oh, it's cool, no worries.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could be that way about it.
He hunts, he fishes.
I hope I could. He was just like, no, it's cool. I knew I'd figure it out. Like, better man than me.
I mean, he shot more bull elk from a wheelchair than I have.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's.
He said he shot 42 animals from a wheelchair.
Yeah. He's got. I mean,
that's a lot of animals.
Got a lot of good friends and family.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
got that 4-wheel drive van with a lift.
Yeah,
and so he has a permit to take it out in the field.
He shoot from a road.
Yeah.
From a dirt road.
Yeah. Can't shoot across roads.
Can't shoot across roads, but can shoot from a dirt road.
From a vehicle.
In Montana, at least. That's I think what he was saying, but. Yeah, just to be brought forth to that kind of a thing where you're like, holy shit, this isn't like, oh, I skinned my knee real bad and I'm going to put some peroxide on it and wash it off and it's going to be all right. But
so, I mean, there's two takeaways there. Number one, it can happen to you.
Yeah.
It could happen tomorrow. Number two is it hadn't happened. Take advantage of what you got.
Absolutely.
Get off the couch and go live,
Mm-hmm. And that's,
I'm preaching to the choir there because you guys get after it a bunch, but you think about all the people that just waste life.
I mean, it absolutely happens, and that's my thing is I just can't. I just can't live that way.
Yeah.
I feel like I've wasted enough of my life. I'm 34 years old.
Exactly.
I haven't been out and done half the things I want to do, and it's just like I've got to, you know, and I'm not, and it's just like I can't let anything stand in my way anymore, you know, for that.
Yeah.
And so having something like that, I mean, just draw off of something that happens to you, but anything. I mean, we've been trying to work with more people who are disabled to try to get them out into the woods and things like that. So. Just to be inspired by those people is so nice to be around, you know?
Yeah, my dad and other people always tell me, you go so hard, like you never relax. I'm not very good at that. If I'm sitting on the couch, I'm thinking about something that should be done. Or, you know, the garage should be organized. There's probably a gun to be clean. I could go shoot some arrows.
Sharpen a knife.
Yeah, something.
I should take that advice.
I'm not going to touch that one. Every knife Abe owns is about as sharp as a soup spoon, but that's neither here nor there.
A soup spoon that Andy Dufresne would dig out of Shawshank with, though. So, you know,
whatever.
Ain't that bad.
And so people always
Andy
tell me,
Dufresne reference here.
Yeah, we went deep. So I'm not good at relaxing, for one, and two, it's just like you said. You know, what could happen tomorrow? Like, if I have the opportunity to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know what happened the week after.
That's smart. And you don't have kiddos yet.
Like, I can sleep anytime. You know.
One major thing I've thought of for this fall hunting season and then going into next year, because I always say, well, we're going to do this. We're going to take the canoe out, X, Y, Z, you know, bang, bang, bang. And you always wind up getting busy. This year I didn't have neither one of my boys or my girl played baseball or softball this year, so we've had a little more time. But one thing I've decided with my kids is I'm going to divide and conquer, kind of like what the 6-year-old can do and what the 13-year-old can do are not the same thing. No. And so I wind up not taking them to do something because one of them can't do it. And I think what I'm going to start doing is, like, this is your weekend. We're going to go do something hard, or, you know, and then the little one go do something with him. But I kind of look at it, he's kind of getting gypped, because when the oldest was,
you have to turn everything down for him.
Yeah, when the oldest was 7, he had already killed a deer. He had already killed my kid. I was showing somebody at a family reunion yesterday pictures, and my oldest boy's killed, he's killed 5 bucks now and a pronghorn antelope, and he's 13.
I haven't killed that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't kill my first big game animal until I was 21 years old.
Yeah,
same here. Nobody in my family hunted.
Same here.
Yeah, well, my dad ran a cotton gin, so we hunted dove, and then after that, and the thing was, you know, we had places, every farmer in town would have let us go. I mean, I could have duck hunted incredible playa lakes, you know, growing up, but no, who knew? Yeah. I didn't even know that
went
was
on your radar.
Yeah. Now the internet,
yeah.
You know, everybody, you know, you can get exposed to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my 13-year-old can probably get exposed to a lot of things I don't want him to.
More so than he should, you know.
Not just duck hunting.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know people did that. Oops, sorry about that.
Uh-oh. That's the old phone on the podcast. That means you have to chug a beer.
It's Father's Day.
Yeah, it is Father's Day. So
you can do whatever you want,
give me
right?
a break.
Do whatever you want.
I'm only father on this podcast. That
Exactly.
we know of.
Yeah, we're not breeders.
No. I mean,
that's what I text all my buddies this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy Father's Day, breeders.
Happy Father's Day, breeder.
So what are y'all, the chalker bulls? And
exactly.
You know what a chalker bull is, Dave?
I don't know what that is.
It's one that they use to go find the hot cows, but then they pull him off and bring in the real bull.
Wow. I'm not sure how to take
I
that.
don't know.
They mark them with chalk in the front.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how they keep them from. Maybe they're sterile. I don't know.
Yeah,
They call them chalker bulls. They'll go mark all the hot cows that they need to IA later.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. And IA is a fun thing to. I've seen a lot of horses, artificially inseminated horse stuff.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
But
do they still collect that by hand, or?
Oh, the last time I saw it, they had a big dummy, like a big
micro episode.
It was a dirty job. I'll tell you that for sure. They had just a big cushion covering a horse size piece of foam. Like they had this dummy thing, and they mount him up there, and they bring in a hot, filly or whatever, you know, and
so you could smell her.
And then they bring him up, and then they, there was a collection that was made. And
the most entertaining part about this is dancing around it. To be fairly,
well, I mean, you just
fairly less graphic.
I just think the fact of the matter that did you see that in Texas they had to introduce campaign finance rules into semen collection for deer?
Yeah, they couldn't contribute deer semen as a campaign.
People were getting
donation.
around finance laws because they would contribute like
deer semen,
like high end like buck semen, as cash, and so they would contribute it because they wouldn't have to report it, and then they turn around and they sell it and make all money off of it. So of course
that's super interesting.
In Texas, this is going on.
I'm trying not to have a convulsion here as my disdain for all people involved in that.
I mean, politics is. It's weird that we've.
Yeah, politics and deer breeding both.
Deer breeding, absolutely, and politics. But we've chosen to spend our time involved in and helping backcountry hunters and anglers, which is a political organization.
Well, it shouldn't be.
Non-partisan.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's non-partisan, but it's still
everything's political.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I struggle with that political side of this because Republicans did have on their platform, the divestiture of public lands as like one of their speaking points.
Yeah,
I think they misunderstood exactly what they were talking about. I mean, you can say you want the smallest federal government possible, but it would be really just a terrible, dumbass idea to sell these lands. First of all, it's a great investment for the government. There's no reason for them to ever get rid of them.
Well, I mean, I think
like it in the world.
No, and I mean, I think that the federal government, like, I'm all about keeping the federal government small and pushing things to the states as you can. But there's certain things the federal government just does better than the states can do, and public lands is just one of those,
Well, states just they don't have the infrastructure set up for that.
You just can't do it.
Wasn't, yeah, it wasn't never.
Designed for that.
That wasn't the idea. Sure.
It's just funny to kind of see how it works and but I mean, here we sit, but we're getting almost 17,000 acres added to public lands here in Texas. Out now, it's in Big Bend, which
love it.
I mean, it's great.
It's a ways out there, but boy,
it is.
If you make the trip, that's.
I'm so excited that the draw season's upon us, and I'm sure I'm going to go invest my money. And
is it in Texas? I haven't even applied for any of those. I need
nothing's open yet.
End of August.
Okay.
End of August, but it's pretty close to end of July. Sometime is at 1st of August is when they'll open it back up.
We all get to donate.
Yeah, we'll all donate a bunch of money to.
You drew last year.
I drew last year one tag. Yeah.
I really enjoyed y'all's podcast about the turkey hunt that Jordan went on.
Yeah,
that was a good. Y'all did.
Did we go over how that whole situation worked?
Yeah.
That we all were going to put in.
Oh, really?
We all said
that's right. Yeah.
And we said we're all going to mail it, and then Abe and I and Cameron never mailed it, and Jordan's the only one who executed it.
Jordan's wife. It was
because Jordan's wife mailed it for him, and he drew first.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I drew. Did y'all draw? And I was like, shit, I have to tell him I didn't even send it. And then I texted Abe. I was like, dude. He goes, dude, I didn't do anything either.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Good.
At least we can be assholes together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But next year I want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that they're taking Hagerman and they're going to put it in the Texas Parks and Wildlife draw system, though.
Oh, okay.
So, well, I mean, at least for deer, I know that. I'm sure the same thing would happen for turkeys, but.
JT said he won't even put in for deer up there anymore. He said it's just ruined.
Yeah.
Hog city. But I guess if you draw a deer tag, you can shoot a couple of hogs and have a good hunt. Something about limited entry that's just going to make it better than whatever else you're doing. So,
agreed.
I mean, put in.
Worth a few bucks.
I mean, that's my thing.
It's hard to talk about spots because, but yeah, I don't know. That's one
Bynum
that's
and
pretty
JT
well known.
were giving me shit about that last podcast. Like, you
Yeah.
gotta learn not to talk about. I'm like,
Yeah, you
I
gotta
don't
be
really
real
care.
vague.
on
but
the other side of the coin, though, we're not statistically, we're not gaining any hunters.
that's
It's
what
still
they say.
public land. I don't know. I just don't stress about it.
Not
Yeah.
to mention, here's my thing. If you're willing to put in the work that it takes to do where we're going, then have at it.
Yeah,
You know? Good luck to you.
I
but-
agree.
I think most people are just not going to do it. I think most people think it's a novel idea, and they'll go out there, they'll walk around 2 days out of the year, and then they're done.
Hey.
You know? They're not going to see a deer.
I've got 3 kids I'm trying to teach to hunt right now,
Yeah.
and I haven't had time in the state of Texas to go give it what it needs.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna. I went one day this past year with my little brother, and he killed a spike. Strangest, I mean, just random deer picked the wrong path to go down, and
Yeah.
could have deviated a million times before he got to him. But
That's
I mean,
true
it
for
was-
any deer, I think.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's true for any deer.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's
But I mean, it was
half
not like we had done a bunch of scouting
Sure,
and
he's
stuff.
lucked
but
onto one.
Yeah, he killed one, right at dark, and it was fun. I love I don't know, I'm kind of a glutton for it now, but I love the pack your crap in, get in there. If you get something down, pack it out, and
Yeah.
have a pretty good story.
Yeah.
And he's probably in better shape now than he was then, but he nearly had a stroke getting out of there.
Oh, I mean,
We had our stands and a whitetail and
Mhm.
our bows and
Oh, yeah.
climbing sticks. That's a lot of junk, man.
I think this year for us has been last year was. I mean, we've hunted
We had
public land
half
for a
an
couple
idea
years.
what we were doing.
Yeah, we really kind of. I feel like last year we turned a corner. We really were like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We walked in a bunch, and I think this year we're done walking. We're going in via water everywhere we go.
Yeah.
You know, and
That just cuts that many more people out of the deal,
Yeah.
probably,
That
too.
and it's
Quiet.
paddling's easier. It's quieter. You're not
Yeah.
leaving scent.
Mm-hmm.
So we've
That's
started
smart.
started digging through our Onyx maps and our Google Maps, and we've got ideas to start prepping.
yeah,
Do you have a life-proof case and a buoy for your phone?
I do now. I've had one. I got into a rough.
Yeah, you need one of those buoys
Yeah,
that
let's
has
talk
like
about this. Let's talk
Yeah.
about why Jared said this.
So on what was it, a week ago? Yeah, a week ago,
ago.
on Monday. I went out. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run out after work, and I'm gonna go do some crappie jigging right over by my house, and because I've got a sickness. My name is Abe, and I'm addicted to crappie, and it's bad.
It's contagious.
It's real bad, and
I've got it too.
so Monday after work, I just ran out and I went out and I got in my kayak and I pushed out and paddled out 150 yards just from the boat ramp, just real close. There's a bunch of trees right there. I just been wanting to kind of get out and scan. I was just going to scan this little area, stay in a real close area. So I was just like, I'm just going to take my phone, cell phone, keys, wallet, throw it in the front of my boat. I'll be fine. Right? Never
Done
ever.
this 100 times.
I've never, years and years and years of kayak fishing, never ever tucked my boat over. I've got outriggers on it, so it's even more stable. There's even more.
Check our Instagram. There's pictures of the,
Yeah,
of
you know.
the boat.
The boat. You know, some people think it's janky. I'll tell you what, but I didn't spend $1,000 on
Well,
it.
how?
You're getting close though.
So
bolting shit onto it.
Get down the road on this, because I mean, with outriggers, because I knew you had those on there.
Yeah.
I thought, I wonder if he took those off after hunting
Yeah,
season. But
so-
no, you still had
no.
those on there.
No,
So I,
keep going.
This had to take some special.
So I'm jigging. I catch me a fish, and I've learned my new technique, which is thanks to Mark Stanridge from Three Nails Outfitters and Guide Service. I went out with him, and he was like, people make the mistake. They just sit in a spot. They sit in a spot. They sit in a spot. They sit in a spot. It's like sit in a spot, 5-10 minutes. You ain't getting anything. Pick up and move. Pick up and move. So I was.
Are you
I was
fishing
doing that.
docks or
I
back
was
in some
fishing
brush?
just like flooded timber.
We've got
flooded timber.
How
fish
deep
finders.
was the water?
12 feet.
Okay,
11 feet.
that's perfect.
12, 11 feet.
Yeah, they
yeah.
So yeah, we've been scanning with our fish finders and finding brush piles.
Scan brush piles,
you
run over.
smart.
Yeah, so scanned, and I was just moving, and I caught a fish, and I moved, and so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, something's not right with this kayak. I'm sitting too low, and so I was like, I'm gonna start paddling. And I paddle, and I'm like, all right, something's all right. I'm dragging these buoys too much, and should have been like, that's a sign that I should have been like, I'm dragging these buoys more than I should, meaning that I got water on board. I'm super stable, right?
Okay,
I am not.
okay.
I don't even notice
It's
the problem.
taking water into the roto mold somewhere back
No,
in there?
it's something. So I'm just sitting
Yes.
too low in the water. Is all I know.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I
yes,
just,
he has a leak. It's leaking
Yeah.
into the rotomotor kayak.
It's absolutely what's going on.
Wow.
But I don't realize that yet. So I'm just sitting too low, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like, all right. I'm just dragging these things. So I just made a stupid decision, which is to pull one of them off. Because I was going to pull them off because I figured I could just paddle faster to get into the, because it wouldn't drag so bad. So I pull one off and instantly it tumps, and I push my weight back over to the other one, and I sit down in the other one, and I catch myself right from tipping over. So I'm like, all right, good, and then I just start to sink backwards.
Pencils.
And straight up Titanic's, right? And I sit
video of
down.
this would have been
Oh my God.
glorious.
So I
Like, oh my God!
oh my God,
Where
I'm-
was your phone at this point?
it's all in the front of my kayak.
Oh,
just
jeez.
yeah. So
I think before I started to mess with that other outrigger, I might have put that sucker in a
yeah,
pocket.
absolutely. Hey, there's a million things that I should have done that would have been smarter than what I did do. But I just that butt end of that kayak sank, and I would just went up in the air, and it tumped me into the water, and it rolled that kayak over, and so then shockingly I didn't freak out. I just was like, get this thing turned back over. So I go down, and you do what you do when you flip a kayak, which I feel like, and Jordan and Austin's going to disagree with me because he's a motorcycle rider, but I feel like being
Also
a
kayak flipper.
yeah,
But
you have flipped kayak, so you are one. But I feel like if you're in a kayak, it's just you're gonna flip it sometime.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a time when you take a drink. Just throughout the time that you have a kayak. And
why do you
kayak
say motorcycle rider? Because I always say
because a motorcycle rider is somebody who you just either you've
it's
tumped
not
it.
if, it's when.
It's when.
It's
Yeah,
when.
you're gonna
wreck.
You're gonna
You're
wreck
gonna
it.
flip your kayak.
Yeah, you're gonna put it down, and you're
Let
gonna
me
have
tell you
to.
this: I'd rather flip a kayak.
I mean,
I've
100%.
had 3 motorcycle wrecks and flip one kayak. You absolutely want to be wet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pavement doesn't give.
Yeah.
No, I went under the water. I lost a kayak, some keys, and a wallet, some fishing poles,
Phone.
yeah,
Your wallet,
wallet, yeah. I'm out of license, and
$1,000 cash.
I'm out about $500 right now.
I got a snorkel.
Dude, the best idea I've heard thus far has been just get yourself a big magnet and just run it through that whole little area.
You think the wallet would pick up? There's something in there?
Yeah, it's got a magnet in it, so I'm hoping it pulls off that. But B, I've got so the problem is that all the other stuff I could care less about. Cell phone, keys, I had a battery box, crate, an anchor trolley, a line,
all your
all
shit.
this stuff,
I didn't think
right?
about that.
And all that is like, it sucks. I hate it, but my wife gave me my wallet on our wedding day. And it had our wedding date, and it had a message from her on a piece of metal, like a metal credit card that was engraved. And so, yeah, that's the part that hurts the most. That's why
we could drag some magnets.
Yeah, I figured
Well,
we
you
could drag some magnets.
Take you some duct tape in a Ziploc bag and put your fishing license on the top of your kayak. Tape it down and maybe not carry your wallet. Did you think you're gonna have to fill up with gas or?
No, I just yeah, exactly.
It's funny because I always just take my license out of my wallet. In the back of my seat has a zipper pocket. My keys and my thing go in there for the reason if I flip, I was like, at least I have keys and keys.
Yeah.
The rest of it sucks.
That's a lot of lessons learned here.
A lot of lessons learned. Tons of lessons.
I got really lucky. We were spring break, took the kids and camped on the Colorado River, and we went and set trot lines and drop lines, and we were checking one drop line, and the wind was blowing straight downriver, and it was hard. If you got sideways, the wind just wanted to tump you itself. And I had a 10-year-old boy and a 13-year-old boy in there with me, and we were checking for catfish. And I had the tackle box open with my phone sitting on top of it in this canoe. And open, because we were resetting the lines too as we were checking them. I had an open container of deer liver sitting there.
Oh, no.
And somehow we flipped the canoe or tump it over to, I guess we fell out when it got to, 90 degrees to the water. And then it went back, and so it filled a bunch with water. and that container of deer liver spilled everywhere, and my phone stayed in there, unbelievably.
Oh my gosh.
My phone stayed in the boat. And of course, I picked it up real quick and put it in my chest pocket and was holding on to the log we were trying to hang a line on. And I helped those boys get in, but then deer liver was everywhere. It was disgusting. But
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's just like I had my phone out because I was listening to music on it because I've got a connector on my phone that allows me to charge my phone, so I'm listening to some music while I'm playing. You know, it's just like, you know, I mean, every single other time I go out, I put all of it in a floatable lockbox that I have. I just didn't do it.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. Like last summer, I fished White Rock like every night. Hit some big bass, and it became such just like, I'm gonna go out for 2 hours, just throw some shit in the boat, and there's gonna be no issues. I've done this 100 times,
right?
And so I completely understand.
I mean, that's when exactly when it happens. Like I feel like now that I'm like, anytime that I feel like, I'm just gonna run out, stop,
yeah,
just whatever you like, take all the things that are important to you, and
have a checklist, and
prepare for the worst in that situation because it sucked, man. I mean, $250 to get a new truck key, and I had to have somebody come out and do that. You know, it's been, you know, I had to get a new phone, so there's another $200. You know, and so it's just like,
that's lucky.
You know,
a new phone usually doesn't run me $200.
Well, I just got a pre-owned one because I'm like,
I
this
got you.
thing's gonna.
This one probably end up on the bottom of the lake too.
Probably end up on the bottom of the lake or fall out of a tree stand and crack or, you know.
This one's waterproof. I flipped my kayak with this one,
and
mine's a sit-in kayak.
Okay.
So it's not, you know, it doesn't have drain holes. So I flipped. It was in waist deep water, and it fell in the bottom of the boat. Luckily, but it was in 3 inches of water by the time shit got sorted out. And
fine, huh?
Yeah. It fried. I had an old iPhone I used just for Onyx Maps.
Yeah.
And it fried
that you just started using for Onyx
That
Maps.
was the second day I'd used it. Legitimately.
That was the best.
And I had paid like $100 to get the screen fixed and bought a case for it that was like super that
rugged,
one that was like supposed to be indestructible, and you know, fried that phone. Lost binoculars. Other than that, it was.
Oh, jeez.
Because I'd paddle. It was the same deal. I paddled constantly, and I was duck scouting. It was a random day. It was a super warm morning, which was the best part about it. It was super warm.
Now, one of you guys has a Jackson, right?
Yeah,
he does.
Okay. And so does
Austin.
Jordan.
Okay.
Jordan, yeah, there.
And
both Austin and Jordan.
Mine's a why am I drawing a blank? Kilroy. As we said, I thought by that point I could not flip that kayak because I'd stood up. We did the Brazos last year below Whitney, and I stood up for 4 hours fishing. And I've gotten squirrely multiple. I'm standing up in that kayak, and if I'm gonna flip this thing, I would have already flipped it. We're good. And there was all these birds moving late morning. I was just there to scout, but I obviously took my gun. I took a few shots. I was like, I'm gonna go over this tree, tie the boat off, and stand in those reeds. And I paddle over this tree, and it's 4 feet away. And I lean over to grab it and pull myself over, and I whiffed. And I guess whiffing enough just got the edge of the boat just enough to get that surface tension and just threw me out.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, like I said, waist deep marsh. I just flipped the boat over. Kind of like, holy shit. Like, get the phone out, shake it off. Everything was fine. My gun's tethered to the boat. You know, I've dropped it in the lake a million times. I don't give a shit about that. I lube my shotgun.
Hashtag Stoker.
Hashtag Stoker. Hashtag lube your.
That's the way I do.
Lube your duck gun with axle grease because they don't wash out.
That's what I mean. I've always thought that for your duck gun, something that you're going to drag around. I've got an old Browning BPS, and I basically just oil it down. I never clean it.
Just beat that.
Just oil it up.
It's going to take
I literally
a beating.
use axle grease every year, once a year.
Yeah, and then use it for whatever. Throw it in the mud and
I've frozen it shut.
I mean, they've like dumped water out of them, you know,
yeah.
and then been like
gun was last of my concern, but then I got it over and rummaged in the boat, and I was like, those binoculars, and mine's kind of got a dashboard on them. And I was watching birds and paddling. I've never flipped this boat. It's not going to flip.
What kind of binoculars were
Nothing crazy special. Redfields. They're like low-end Leopolds or something.
I thought you lost a pair of Vortex.
No. I would have been
sick.
I would have been out there the next day with my... And what's
Scuba gear.
No, I've got a badass fish finder, a side scan. I could have seen them, but I take all that gear off when I duck hunt because extra weight. And I kept
Do
saying
you
I was
remember
go
which
back,
tree it
but
was?
I've hunted that spot forever, and I spent the next 3 hours that morning, tied the boat up, and I had waders on. So I shuffle a grid, like probably 20 or 30. I can want to kick them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I stomped them into the mud, but they were gone.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't
It's like
crazy
that
expensive,
bird.
probably $150,
Yeah.
but it's still. And I bought some Vortex now, and it's fine.
I
It's
thought you
just
had
one of those
lost a
things.
pair of Vortex too.
You got an awesome pair.
I do have a good pair of Vortex now.
Vortex would make it great
Hell yeah.
glass, man.
I got a 12 by 52 set that
Yeah.
I'm super
12s,
happy.
huh?
He went big time.
I was
Got a
like,
handhold those?
I'm not buying these for like deer hunting in Texas because I don't need to see something 30 yards away.
Right.
I'm
well,
like-
and you're not.
I've got 10 by 50s.
If you're trying to get down to that per inch,
Yeah.
is that a 6-inch brow tine or a 5.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan got what he get 10 by 40s.
10 by
42?
42s, yeah.
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 So yeah, that was my only kayak flipping story, and I mean I learned some. I've done a couple small things different. Now that he's flipped his, we've had a lot of discussion on things
Oh,
we're
yeah.
all gonna do differently.
Yeah.
Woo.
I'd like to get a couple of good kayaks too. I mean that Craigslist canoe's been some of the best money I've ever spent. We've got our $300 out of that thing.
That's
10
the thing,
times.
right? That,
Oh,
like a
it's-
canoe
it's
is
such money well spent.
That's why I'm like,
I'm telling
my
you.
wife is like, so the long and short of my story was I had a crack in the bottom of my kayak, which filled
Okay.
up with water, which is what sank it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So
That water shift to the rear.
Yeah.
Bloop.
as soon as I took that, but the good thing is that I had those pontoons on. So like this is the juxtaposition from the good, right? So I had those pontoons on and I was fine. I noticed no outside of me riding low in the water. I didn't. There was no like,
You're probably more stable because you were riding.
I was
Yeah.
super
It
stable,
was probably
right? Yeah.
holding it
Yeah.
to where only so much water could go
Yeah.
in too. And when you took
Exactly.
that off,
It boom. So now I'm like, my wife was like, well, are you gonna get a new kayak, or what are you gonna do? And I'm like, I would love to buy a new kayak, but
Diablo.
I'm not gonna buy. We're also talking about getting a boat. So she's like, well, you're not gonna buy. I was like, she was like,
Oh,
do you want to
yes,
get a
I
new
am.
kayak? I was like, well, I'd like to get a new kayak, but I'm not gonna buy another $300 kayak. I'm gonna buy a
12 and a half foot
$1,200,
Diablo,
yeah. I'm
like
gonna
they
buy-
have at the front of Tailwaters
yeah,
here.
exactly. I'm gonna get
Is that what
something.
that is? Yeah.
That's a
That
10,
boat
but
is awesome.
We'll talk about this after. That's going to be my boat next.
that is a slick looking rig.
you could,
man.
the dog could be on the deck with you. Like,
Yeah.
But anywho, continue. I'm sorry.
So it's either that or so I was like, I'm not going to buy a new boat. We're going to buy a new boat, so I'm not going to buy a new kayak. So I was like, I'm just going to fix the bottom of this one. So I've been YouTubing how to plastic weld, and so, which is fairly easy.
You're melting shit.
I went to Harbor Freight and bought myself a heat gun, and I'm going to.
Fill it full of.
The hardest part for me is finding plastic big enough, because you can get the metal, like,
Get a bunch of
Austin and I were
Dairy Queen straws and
No, you
Well-
can buy plastic welding sticks from like
Yeah.
Austin Kayak, and they look like welding rods, but they're plastic.
Yeah.
So
You
you
just
just
heat 'em up
you
and-
just melt them and
Yeah.
you
which
run
is
them.
fine, and I'm okay
Run a
with
bead.
I
that.
think you should do both.
I
Like
agree with you.
Fill your crack and then put your.
yeah.
So what I saw is a guy who took a patch, and he had kind of the same thing, right? He had gotten a crack in the keel of his kayak, and he took a big, probably like a 3-inch wide by 4-inch long piece of plastic, and he had put it in a toaster oven on foil and heated it up, and then he set it down and just with gloves just held it in place while it dried. And he was like, man, and it was 1.5 inch thick, so it was like, that's what I really want, because the problem is that I was taking it over the couple of years that I've had my kayak, just taking it in and out of my truck and moving it in and out of wherever I'm taking it in and out of, is just, it dented the bottom and that cracked it, and that's what,
Yeah.
But the fact is that I had probably 50 pounds worth of water in there, enough that as soon as I took
Telephone pole.
it telephoned it, pulled it. So I'm putting a trolling motor on the back of that thing, and with those outriggers, which will never come off again, and we'll be able
Rolling,
to.
huh?
I'll register that boat, and that'll be our duck hunting boat, and
Yeah, you got to register it when you put a motor in it and a battery.
It's $67.
Just a motor.
Yeah, a motor. $67. So
We all run batteries.
Oh,
We got lights and fish finders and
I
debris.
guess that's right.
yeah. Which I tell you, we run on the lake this weekend, and on
Now, what lake are you doing all this on?
Ray Hubbard,
Ray Hubbard.
right over by my house, and but Tawakoni is where we spend a lot of time. You know.
Just messing
And
around.
I'm the guy who talks too much about spots.
Well, not
good.
to hunt. Y'all would never hunt Tawakoni, but y'all just
No.
mess around.
No,
So I'm
we
looking
hunt
for fish
Fork
and things.
exclusively.
Yeah,
Fork and Ray Roberts.
Yeah.
and
We duck hunt in
Toledo
Louisiana.
Bend.
Yeah. We hunt.
You're out on that one cove in Toledo Bend.
Exactly.
That's pretty
exactly.
good.
Exactly.
It's only 75,000 miles of water.
Exactly. Good luck.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was a mistake.
that's the
and
thing
a
about
lesson
as
learned.
good a public land hunter as I am. If I told people where I was going, they'd say, "Oh shit, there's no reason to go there.
I
This
mean,
guy,
that's
this
what
guy
I'm
can't kill anything anywhere."
That's how it's us.
like. 70 people who listen to this podcast over its lifetime are gonna, good luck.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Don't go to my spot, Mom.
Exactly.
I'm watching you.
So
Anywho,
was
lots of
good.
BHA stuff coming up.
Yes.
lots of BHA stuff. we've got the first and foremost next weekend is
Full
Next
draw.
weekend.
and this podcast will come out by then. So
Is it?
yeah,
I was hoping
We'll make
so.
sure.
I'll make sure of that.
Yeah, full draw San Antonio, Bernie, Leading Edge Archery, 5 o'clock.
Absolutely.
Food, beer, a
Raffle
lot of
items.
some raffles.
I think
Lo-
we're gonna have the big. BHA's got the big Yeti raffle going on
Yeah.
right now.
So right now, get your BHA membership, get a raffle ticket to win a Yeti cooler. What cooler?
75.
Got a 75.
That's
I've
a
got
good
a
one.
Really
I own a
hard.
75.
It's
You can
sitting in my
fit two
garage.
whitetails in there easy.
Yeah.
In a 75?
Yeah.
Well, we just got a 110.
Yeah.
Arctic.
Eee.
And I was thinking 2 whitetail in it. It sounds like we can get a whole shitload
Oh, you
more.
can get 3
That
whitetails in
75
that, I
is
bet.
giant. Like that came to my house and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I got a 75.
Maybe I should just, if I don't say anything to anybody, no one will say anything about this cooler that just got shipped to my house.
No, never got it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Somebody should call the post office.
Yeah, exactly. We should call Ben O'Brien.
Y'all have that insured?
Yeah, exactly. Somebody bought the insurance, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we got it's a tan 75 quart. It
like
is
that.
awesome.
That's awesome.
All right, so buy your membership, get a raffle ticket. At
Yep.
the end of the year, we're going to draw for whoever wins that cooler. Totally above board. It's all going to be legit. Buy your membership. Join BHA. We've got 500, probably 600 members now in the
You'll
state
need to
of
come
Texas.
to, I will say this, you will need to come to a BHA event, whether it is
That's
a
right.
full draw event or a pint night
Mhm.
or whatever. But that's the only way to get a raffle ticket.
That's right.
So,
First event, or the next event, is in San Antonio this upcoming weekend, the 23rd of June. Leading Edge Archery in Bernie. Not exactly San Antonio, but Bernie. Then,
close enough for government work.
yeah, we're almost a month out from Fort Worth's July 21st. We're going to have a 3D shoot at 10 o'clock in the morning at Cinnamon Creek. And then at 4 o'clock that evening, we're going to have
be
the full
awesome.
draw film tour. And it's going to be a
Cannot wait.
full day. We've got food. We're going to hang out, have some specialty archery shoots, midday. And then 4 o'clock, we're going to start the film and have a big raffle after that. Should be a big turnout. I expect 150 plus.
I'm thinking it's going to be a bunch.
Last year was packed up here at Tailwaters.
Mhm. Man, I love this place. Speaking of tailwaters, they're good to us, and this is a beautiful.
Sean and his crew are the best.
I don't, I wear fly fishing gear. Apparently, my wife just left here with a big basket cart full of jack
I know.
stuff.
My
Anyway.
wife came here the other day too and was like,
what I
is
was
this
telling
where
him.
you're hanging out? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, this place is awesome.
Yeah, it is
I'm
awesome.
like, I know, right?
Anyways, but so we, I don't fly fish, but if I did, I would spend a lot of time and money in here. My wife once she is kind of beating me about the head and shoulders to learn, and I told her to come get a lesson up here
Sean
while we
will
were
take care
doing
of her.
this.
Sean
Yeah.
will
I
take
don't know if
me.
I like that, but
I mean, Sean's a gentleman, but,
No,
I
I'm
didn't
just
mean
joking.
it that way.
I'm
This
just joking.
this went took a
Went
hard
south
left.
quick, huh?
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding. No, she wants to learn to fly fish. I want to too. I just know I just know it's not as easy as it looks.
And I feel like it's like we all have so much gear and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it's another black
One more
hole to
thing.
go down. Because I get obsessive. Like, I'm going to do something,
Oh.
I'm going to go all the way into it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so
I
it's
don't want to be
another-
crappy at anything. That's why I quit
No.
golf.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I quit golf because I could not break about 85. And the more I worked on it, the worse I got. It was
Yeah.
like I was in my own head. And I thought, this is a stupid game. I'm spending 4 hours. There's nothing to eat after.
Yeah.
There's no fish.
Yeah.
They've ruined a bunch of
All
good,
I'm doing is spending money.
They've ruined a bunch of good hunting land, putting these stupid golf
Exactly.
courses everywhere.
I could shoot.
All
I
these-
could shoot a limit of ducks playing
That's right.
18 holes of golf.
Yeah,
Typically,
or
Told
at
my
least some
buddy, I
geese.
said,
exactly.
They
Definitely
ruined
some
up.
geese.
There's no telling how many good turkey roosts they ruined by
Yeah.
building that Augusta National Place. Those bastards. So
See, I'm about
Exactly.
to have to start golfing, kind of. And I don't even want to be good.
no, you know. I mean, you
At
have
work,
to start
I mean,
driving
that's-
around and drinking. Is what
That's
you're talking
exactly
I
about.
mean,
what it is.
I've done that at multiple tournaments, but I feel like I'm going to have to start swinging clubs. And I have no desire to be good. I just want. I've been in Top Golf 100 times, and I can hit
Yeah.
the ball real far. I just have no control over which direction it goes real far.
Yeah.
And so that's everything I'd play would always be where they call them scrambles, right? We play best ball.
Yeah,
So
that was fun. Probably.
That
I
is
mean,
fun.
I've never done it, but I said I don't want. My ball will never be the one we play. I just don't want to be the jerk. Just like, who invited this guy?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
come
mean,
on.
the main thing is if you're gonna be shitty at it, buy cheap balls where you don't have to look for them forever.
Yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, that's my
The
plan.
worst
Like, yeah,
is
no,
if-
forget it. Like, just
Yeah,
keep
it's
going.
gone.
Who's
The
got
wor-
a beer?
The worst is the guy that thinks he's good and is bad and buys really expensive balls and spends 30 minutes looking every
Yeah.
hole, and you're like, God, I want to shoot this
I'm
guy."
fully in
Figure it
touch
out.
with what my plan is.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it's just to be
exactly.
able to hit it straight and not slow down the team
Yeah,
for
that's
work
good.
because it's all social, half social,
Yeah.
and something to do while we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it's going to be.
I used to think I would do a lot of business on the golf course, and I realized at one point in time I didn't even really like people that.
Anytime you were out
Yeah,
there, you were
just-
like,
some of these guys, I don't even really want to. I don't even want their business.
yeah,
Just want to go do something else.
exactly. Now, let me ask you this question about fly fishing. So, when you are backcountry elk hunting,
Yeah.
are you ever taking a rod out there?
You know, I'd like to. The place that I've hunted the last 2 years, once you get into the hunting location, there's some lakes.
Yeah.
And probably a spinning rod with a.
Would be fine.
Yeah, a Tiger Martin or a MEP spinner would be perfect.
Yeah.
But where we're finding elk, in early archery season, they're so high in Colorado that there's not many streams up there or pocket
Yeah.
water. I mean, there is some, but
Not for the most part.
I try to get so light on everything that I've carried that it just didn't make a lot of sense. I'd love to eat some brook trout,
Yeah.
and I see these guys that do that, and on their scouting trips, I would do it on a scouting
Yeah.
trip for sure, fish a couple hours a day. But it's so much to do, and then you're so beat by. I mean, I'm so tired and cold and want to get a hot meal that I'm just not going to go.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's so much country when you get into those good elk
Yeah.
spots that, when you get back in there, there's just so much to see, and there's always something that, well, I should have pushed 30 minutes more deeper, if I was going to come back and fish. With the one spot that we've gone the last 2 years in Colorado, walk-in deal is there's some lakes up high, and I know they have trout in them,
yeah.
but
What are you gonna do? Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta make a choice.
I'd
you know,
rather kill grouse and eat grouse,
than
with my mountain house. But mountain house is fun too. I don't mind it.
yeah.
I'd like to go in the summer and get into some of those places again, though. And right now, that whole national forest is shut down. They're having fires
Oh, really?
all over a lot of that, which is, I tell you what's going to be great for some over-the-counter tags in the next few years. You
Good.
just go in and find where they've burned
Burn
up.
units. Yeah.
Yeah, just find where they've burned up and go back. Maybe not next year, but the year after for sure. There'll be elk flood in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The beetle kill pine is so bad
Yeah.
in a lot of that. Some of it is just 90% dead.
I mean, the couple of places we've gone in Colorado over the last couple of years has been the same way.
Yeah.
And we've just been backpacking. We haven't even been hunting, but it's just
Yeah.
like, it's everywhere. You just walk through and it's just
Deadfall.
deadfall everywhere. Yeah.
I think a fire fixes a lot of that. I think it comes back.
I mean, you gotta
spruce.
think, you know.
absolutely. Because pine cones have to burn really to start germinating well.
Is that what happens?
So it's good. These big raging fires that burn off old growth aren't necessarily great, but
Right.
those small fires to clean up the underbrush and burn some pine cones
Well,
are
I
good
kid you
for
not.
it.
I can show you pictures, but where we hunted last year, there was no old growth left. Everything that was more than a couple years old was
Deadfall.
dead.
Done.
Dead
Yeah.
or standing dead mostly.
Yeah.
And then you'd come to a place where like a sheer wind had come through and it just spiraled that stuff. I mean, it was
Wow.
just
You could see it.
pickup sticks,
Yeah.
just terrible.
Looked like flood came through.
Nobody
Pop.
could get through it. I think bears probably live in there,
Yeah.
kind of.
Something like that.
But there's nothing. I mean, it's just
There's no big animals in
now
there.
the standing dead. All the needles fall off and it gets good and sunny on the bottom, and it's all good elk browse and grass and forbs and stuff. But once they start really getting thick in there, it takes those trees forever. It looks like to break down.
Oh yeah.
I wish I knew more about mushrooms because it's all. I mean, mushrooms everywhere. I'm sure there's
sure.
chanterelles I'm walking over all the
Morels, too,
time.
maybe.
Yeah.
Morels in April, May,
Yeah.
June, probably not in September.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
more of a chanterelle. But I just don't know.
Yeah,
about
you
it.
know,
I mean,
that's
there's-
risky business.
That is some risky
It is.
business there. You're like,
you're
oh,
definitely
I
not
hope
gonna
I'm
run
eating the
Not
right
going to
thing.
run a 13-day hunt, shitting
By
down
dying
your
on a
leg.
mountain.
Yeah, like, uh-oh.
God.
Or
Right.
just to get sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if
Even
it
if you
was
just
just kind of bad one.
No
And
way.
It's
Poop your
risky
brains
enough
out,
drinking
yeah.
that water that you hope is taken care of.
Yeah.
I got that. Cat
pump deal?
pump
K-9?
filter. Yeah, and but it's still, same thing. You're just like, boy.
Yeah, you just never really know if you get a
I
hole
hope.
in it or something freezes in there and breaks those fibers up. I've heard of that.
Mhm.
I sleep with my platypus. I've got a gravity platypus deal. I sleep with it in my sleeping bag to make sure it doesn't freeze.
Yeah.
Because we did
That's a
have
good idea.
a good bunch of ice last year. We had sleet a couple of nights and woke up and the tent was frozen.
And when did you go? In November?
No, late September.
And it just got cold?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it
just-
snowed on us in
'cause
August at
we-
10,000 feet. You know?
We camp at 11
Yeah, I mean,
this
it's-
last year. Yeah,
That's you're talking. Like I said, at 10,000, right over 10,000 feet for us, it was the same way. I mean,
Yeah.
we got snow in August.
yeah.
We woke up and it's snowing, and you're like, oh,
I love it. I'm ready for it right now.
oh my God, I wish.
Go mow your yard in this temperature and then go.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for.
See, heat doesn't bother me at all.
You're young.
Uh,
You're
I can deal with the cold for a purpose,
yeah.
but being at home in Texas in the winter, I hate it.
Really?
I mean, if I'm not duck hunting, like when duck hunting ends, in the
Oh,
first part of the year,
Yeah.
when I can't, there's no hunting to be done and it's cold. I'm like, this is awful.
Ah.
Like I can't ride the motorcycle. I can't go fishing.
Like that
I'm,
motorcycle.
now I'm ready for summer.
So are you a Harley guy or are you one of those?
I've had them all now, but now that I'm old, I have the big bagger Harley.
All right.
Oh yeah, saddlebags, cruise control.
Are you like in a
radio.
gang? Is there any
Such-
gang affiliation?
He's absolutely in a gang.
Such a big gang.
He like-
Stormwater Creek.
He murdered somebody the other day
Yeah.
because they were wearing like a
Stays out of the.
a
what-
rival gang vest or something.
No.
What was that in Waco? What were those two gangs? The
Oh, the-
Banditos and the.
Yeah, the Banditos and the.
What's that at like a Hooters, wasn't it? Or
Yeah,
something?
Something
it was
that.
like it was some
Twin Peaks.
Exactly, out of Twin Peaks.
Never heard of it, but I mean,
I don't know. Just watch the news and
yeah.
See, when I lived in West Texas, me and all my buddies had motorcycles. We all rode around together and would ride out Powder Canyon and stuff on the weekends, and
Yeah.
that was great. But now, I mean, I don't really know anybody who has a bike. Jordan has a bike; he never rides it.
Yeah.
But
he wants
so
to
I'm gonna
sell
ride
it.
by myself. I mean, Lauren's in town. We go ride to brunch, and
Ride to
what-
brunch.
yeah.
That's hardcore there. I ride my motorcycle to brunch.
Why?
It's
No, I'm
super
just saying those are juxtapositions.
I'll tell you what's a juxtaposition is going by like organic greens and putting them in your saddlebag of your Harley. And that happens on like weekly.
That's awesome. You're a well-rounded young
I
man.
think so.
He is.
I mean, walking out with bags of groceries and
From Whole
crack my
Foods.
saddlebags at Whole Foods or whatever.
And
Central
that is
Market.
Central
awesome.
Market, and they're
Yeah,
like,
white
whoa.
people problems.
You feel like the most alpha dude in that place. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I'll
I went to
take
Like,
the
my kombucha won't fit in my saddlebag.
yeah. I went into the Trader Joe's in Santa Fe on my way up to my hunt last year, and I walked out of there going, I'm not normally like the most alpha son of a bitch in a place.
Yeah, but
I was the most
here,
alpha male in
I
that
win
place
that
for
one.
sure.
Somebody's like, this pizza dough, is it whole wheat or
Yeah. Anyways,
crazy?
not to bag on. Anyways.
Anyways,
Trader Joe's.
like
Whole
I said,
Foods.
5 people listen to
We
this.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trader Joe's sponsor.
I like Trader
podcast.
Joe's. They have a bunch of cool, like, we're not
Yeah, right.
eating carbs. They have a lot of cool. They used to have riced cauliflower,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome
we've been
substitute
eating a
for
lot of
rice.
They
that.
don't have it anymore. We buy it all the time. I thought.
Which, like the one right up here on 70.
We go to
70
Fort Worth. The one in Fort Worth.
Okay.
I live
I live
in
Yeah.
Fort Worth, so
Yeah. Wait.
I live in Aledo. But
That's
Yeah.
east.
Yeah, that's east, isn't it?
Yeah.
One up off 75. It's been real hit and miss to get it.
really,
I don't know if it's just everybody's buying it out.
I'll tell
or-
you what,
I like
Walmart has always got it.
Rice cauliflower?
Yeah,
I hate that place. Oh my dear God.
I know.
it's hard to go in there.
I know.
I don't think it's worth
get
it.
it.
I just won't eat rice cauliflower.
It's, you know what? It's like it's cheaper than any other grocery
I don't
store that's
care.
around us. I know.
I've made a few good
But
decisions,
you know
and I will
me.
spend my earned income
Mhm.
elsewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my wife, she it's probably 10 miles, 15 miles further from our house, but she does pickup at HEB. And
Yeah.
HEB is the way
Granbury.
to go.
We're
I
probably
love
only
HEB.
about 20 miles from that HEB, and we're about 5 from the Walmart in Benbrook, and
Yep.
To hell
she
with
goes
that.
down
huh?
there. HEB's great.
I
All
HEB
their,
is
love
the best.
HEB.
all their private label stuff
It's
is,
quality.
yeah, it's good.
I love HEB.
Hebe is where
And
it's
good
at.
people.
Hebe.
Babe.
Yeah. I mean, right by my house is everything. But I just pretty much stick this one big, nice Tom Thumb. And
Yeah.
if I want really nice cuts of meat or something, Central Market's right there. And
Yeah.
Target's right
I
there.
never bought
so-
meat at Central Market, but
Oh, I mean, HEB's got great meat, so you got.
Mhm.
If I had the choice, I would go to HEB.
when I
but-
buy a steak, Costco cuts a pretty good.
They do.
I mean, that's kind of hard to beat.
And it's just me, so I don't have a Costco membership because I don't need
Right, sure.
50 tubes of toothpaste or whatever.
5 pounds of mayonnaise.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
A drum with a pump of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think we you guys are good at getting off, and I'm not helping you any.
No, it's
So,
okay.
Oh,
San Antonio, June 23rd.
Yep.
Starting at 10 o'clock, July 21st. We got a 3D shoot, and then the full draw film tour at 4 o'clock at Cinnamon Creek Ranch Archery Shop in Roanoke, Texas, which is North Fort Worth.
place is badass.
August 11th at Archery Country in Austin, Texas, we have the full draw film tour down there, and there will be food, there will be drinks, there will be a big raffle. Yeah, Archery Country's great. Those guys are awesome to work with. We also have in the fall, we're tentatively going to have a hunting film tour for those of you that aren't just completely bow sick. We're trying to set that up with Community Brewing here in Dallas and have an October event there. I do know we have a storytelling event in November. I think Ben O'Brien is going to be our guest for that in
I think
Austin.
there could be a couple more people there though too.
Oh, is that maybe some special guests too?
I think there's going to be Ben O'Brien plus a couple.
Oh,
So
that would be fun in November. So we do have some things coming up. Are we going to have some more pint nights and hike
Absolutely.
to hunts or?
Yep.
I think we're going to start pint nights.
A monthly running pint night on
pint
Thursdays.
night. So
Where at?
Probably.
moving around,
In
but
Dallas.
it's going to be basically like
Yeah, they
a
should start hitting the
weekly, a
calendar
monthly
soon.
thing. Yeah, so
All
you
right.
should keep an eye out on the calendar.
So
For that.
backcountryhunters.org. Go to the Texas page of that.
Yep,
And then-
on Facebook.
and
Watch
then
us on
on Facebook,
Instagram
too.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And I think we're gonna try to start doing at least here in Dallas Fort Worth, and I'm hoping in Austin and San Antonio as well as standing monthly pint nights
And hike to
and
hunts.
hike hunts.
And we've got a big one. It's penciled in right now for October over in Arlington, but we're getting the details of that together.
Yeah.
That's going to be at Stormwater Creek and BHA big pint night
Okay.
Yeah,
with some YouTube people that have quite the
Exactly.
following.
Really?
Yeah. So.
exactly. We're
But that's
looking
all we
forward
can
to
say.
it.
It's not. There's nothing in ink yet.
Nothing
so.
in ink yet, but there could be a cool little
Like
live
I said, the
podcast
5
coming
people
up.
and our moms who listen to this will really appreciate it.
So right in the middle of deer season, we're gonna crank up a live podcast. So
I like it.
Because that last one went well. You were there.
yeah, he moderated
Yeah,
it.
you were the
I moderated
Yeah,
it.
no.
Yeah, he was
Sorta.
there.
Yeah.
That was,
And,
that was a lot of people on a deal.
That was a lot of fun.
Well,
It was,
I mean,
it was fun.
Trust me, I can speak for the BHA guys. We're glad to have you guys on board. Y'all are hard
100%.
workers and do good at what you do. I mean, Abe obviously is the secretary, which
it's
I've seen Mad Men. You don't look anything like that.
No, I don't. I don't have that red hair and big boobs and big butt. I mean, I got a big butt, but I don't have
No.
big boobs.
Anyway,
Thankfully, there's no kids here.
yeah. No, you guys do great.
Yeah.
We try.
Austin, Dallas Public Outreach Committee Chairman or committee man.
Whatever.
Heaven
Committeeman.
forbid somebody, if you ever think about like volunteering, like, hey man, I'd like to be a part of this. You should definitely reach out to Austin. Austin,
Dang
will-
right.
Just
Austin
email
Austin will hook you
Stormwater
up.
Creek and mention that, and we'll get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
we're
three of
looking
us.
for more folks in Houston that want to pick up the mantle.
We're looking
too.
for more
Absolutely.
people everywhere.
Everywhere.
True. That's
Yeah.
true.
Everywhere.
But
who want-
Houston for sure.
Yeah.
But everywhere is
Come
an
get on
accurate
it.
statement.
There's a lot of good people out there. This organization, is a young, growing, not just in the organization, but I'm talking about the demographics is
Yeah.
probably as young as any
It is the
conservation
youngest.
organization, and probably one of the fastest growing.
We
I
are the youngest and the fastest growing conservation organization in the entire country.
Well, there you go. So
It's
I
good to
don't
be a
know
part of that.
yeah, it is good to be part of that. A lot of people that have energy and
Yeah.
Stuff gets done.
yeah.
That's for sure.
Absolutely. What else?
Anything
that's
else?
it.
Got anything else?
I
No
got
more
nothing
concluders
else.
from me.
I'm good.
I made up with crappie sickness, so keep an eye out for
Yeah,
that.
we're going back out in July.
We are going out at the end of
next about
July
a month here. We're
with
going
Mark
back out
Stanridge from Three
with
Nails.
Three Nails Outfitters again.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause Abe's
addicted to
just,
that guy.
He's got brush piles on different lakes. And
He
He's
got on it.
He's a crappie man, dude. This
Mhm.
guy's just like 20 like all year long. That's all he does. He hunts crappie.
Mhm.
He's like, I don't go bass fishing. I don't go cat fishing. I crappie fish.
man led by his stomach like me.
Oh, he's a good dude, and I'm telling you, he'll put you on fish, and if
I'm
you're-
excited to learn because you said I have a whole new understanding of crappie fishing.
Absolutely.
That's why I want to go.
Is he a jigs guy or a minnows guy?
Jigs guy. He'll minnow on you now, but
Mm-hmm.
it,
I have a
he's-
lot of friends that are jigs in the early summer
yeah.
and spring, and then they go to minnows when it gets real hot.
Yeah,
See, we've been doing minnows. We didn't get anything that Abe
yeah.
learned otherwise this last couple weeks ago.
Hey, I mean he's open. I mean that's what his.
I'm not opposed to it either. I
No.
mean, some people are purists on things, but
I don't give a damn.
No.
crappie is a meat.
Give me
He's a meat
give me as
haul,
many.
you know.
I want to catch limits. If
Yeah.
I catch that via a minnow or a little plastic worm,
Mm-hmm.
right on. I don't
Exactly.
care.
Man.
You know.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing about that. I've got friends that do it. We fish crappie piles with them
Yeah,
out west, and
That's awesome.
they're good.
that's the way to go.
Good.
Get on crappie.
Cool.
pile. All right.
Cool.
Well, thanks for joining us again,
Yeah,
man.
thanks, Jared.
Thanks for having me.
Check out the
Anytime.
website. Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast, review the podcast, but more importantly, go out to BHA, check out one of the numerous events going on around the state of Texas. And if you're not in Texas, I guarantee you there's a local chapter that you should go check out because they've got stuff going on too, no matter where you're at. So thanks for listening to the podcast, and have a good day.
Adios.
That's it. Adios.
Legal.